I personally didn't find it difficult to be a clean athlete just because I grew up in an environment where it wasn't even a question whether or not of how we're going to go about achieving the results we want to achieve. And my coach and my parents and my friends and the environment that I grew up in was super healthy. I think the values that we acquire as children are the most important when it comes to deciding at the end in your, or not at the end, but within a period of your athletic career, whether or not you want to take any performance-enhancing drugs. I would say that in my family, the priority, first of all, was that I enjoy the sport just because I love it. I love the aspect of training and performing and having fun with friends. So I never felt the pressure from my family to achieve anything in my sport. It was purely for the joy of being an athlete and growing up in a healthy training environment. There was no conversation even about doping. As a young athlete, I never questioned that the idols in the swimming world could potentially be using performance-enhancing drugs to be the best in the world. So I can say that I grew up in a very naive world. I think I came across doping scandals in swimming after the age of 20. And that's the first time I started thinking about, swimmers are actually looking for ways to enhance their performance. I know of cases in other sports, so that's why I'm saying in the swimming world, it was pretty innocent until a few big superstars were caught cheating. So when I found out about doping cases in swimming, I was very disappointed because the way I approach sports is purely from a perspective of what can I do that is in my power to get to where I want to go without anything else. Maybe my mom's soup and my grandma's strudels, and I never even thought about taking. True that we took a few vitamins and just maybe a protein shake for enhancing recovery, but from my standpoint, I never thought about I want to cheat the system so that I can get to a result faster or better. Even as a clean athlete, of course you fall under suspicion because, for example, in my case, I was the first Slovenian woman in swimming to bring home an Olympic medal. And the attitude is, it's impossible to win an Olympic medal in that sport because the competition is huge. Slovenia is a tiny little country that has, in no comparison as good training facilities, coaches as other countries do. So how can you really make it? I think it's just very common. I didn't emotionally react to people saying those things because I understand their perspective, and it sometimes from a psychological perspective comes from a stance of jealousy. I feel sorry that people would even question my success, and everybody around me that genuinely knew me didn't suspect, so that's all that matters. There's actually a very thin line between the white little lies we tell ourselves every day and the big lies because we're so good at justifying our behavior. So whether or not we run the red light or we're just close to running it. So when it comes to now making decisions about taking performance-enhancing drugs, it's exactly the same thing. People think in the exact same terms. They're like, well, everybody does it. No one's gonna really catch me. I've done it, or I've done it before. I can keep going, and it's fine. It's like, I'm still a good person. So the way they're excusing their behavior makes them engage in that behavior, which is really not healthy for them or moral in its essence.